Welcome into another episode of your favorite golf podcast. That's the No BS Golf Show. I'm Brad Thomas, and as you can see, my man, Chris Money Mills, is not here. He's actually somewhere swimming with dolphins, sipping pina coladas, not doing what I'm doing, and probably what y'all are doing all week, and that's working. So we will do a solo intro and then bring in the one and only Model Maniac. But before we bring him in, we have to talk about Arnold Palmer, and we have to talk about this streak that I'm on. It is driving me nuts. And I say this like tongue in cheek because we've already hit 2 or 3 outrights on the season. We've already hit 3 first round leaders. So I'm not like super upset of how the season's going, but it is really driving me nuts. Rory McIlroy's win made it 3 weeks in a row that the golfer who won was on my card the week before. Rory, Hindley, and I can't even remember who the other one was, but they're all just making me sick, right? Like at this point, do I just run the card back the next week? I don't even have any overlap from week to week in this card. I may, depending on the tee times, but you know, take it with a grain of salt because we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I certainly had some good this week. It's been a tough season in the placement markets for me. Um, you know, season before in the season before that, I thought it was just pretty straightforward, but I did notice there was kind of like this dip, the dip in the market. And we can even go back as far as when Live, the genesis of Live, and how it just basically gutted the pricing when you take out a lot of those really big names, and not even just good golfers, but really popular golfers who are taking away some of that value, some of that liquidity, right? It's kind of trickled over to the placement market. Like there was a time, like I'm sounding like some old man. Back in my day, you could bet like a Justin Thomas top 20 for plus 200. But now, I mean, Tommy Fleetwood last week for top 20 or top 30 was like minus odds. While he hit the top 30 market at minus 120, it's just you have to be a little more cautious, right? Like you have to kind of find a little bit more value. I was happy that we cashed. I think we went 3-1 in the placement market. We lost Michael Kim, and I could live with the Michael Kim. I said that before. That Michael Kim, this course doesn't set up great for him, but he's a great tee to green golfer. You have to get value on a guy playing good with their skill set. Didn't work out. The bad, that was my bad. The ugly, I don't know if I have an ugly, right? Missing Rory was pretty tough. That kind of hurt. I'll talk about my good. I have, sometimes kind of strayed away from using just sheer mathematics when betting on golf. It's hard, right? Because you're using mathematics on bets and lines that are like minus 200 to plus 350, plus 500. It's easier, right? The numbers are more, I don't want to say finite, but it's easier to say that something has a 55% chance and then you think it's 65. Well, when you start getting to numbers like are plus 350, plus 4,000, you're like, this has a 3% chance, but the odds are saying it's plus 7,000 and it's giving like a 1.5% chance. Does that mean I bet it, right? Like that's when you really start jogging your mind because you're going to have to run this 100 times. You're going to have to bet this guy at this course 100 times to really see your value unless you strike gold first. So maybe I've taken the math out of it a little bit too much. Well, in the playoff, Rory versus JJ Spaun, it was the easiest math of my life. And I've heard the argument, and it's an accurate argument, that yes, JJ Spaun could have certainly won that playoff. However, mathematically, the odds were saying that JJ Spaun wins that playoff 37% of the time. I don't know. I outside of just Rory being an incredible golfer, getting 3 holes, so the randomness, the level of randomness decreases drastically, and JJ Spaun having to sleep on that overnight. If I were to guess, outside of Rory having a child, he slept way better than JJ Spaun. So I pegged that about 80%, maybe 75 on the short side, and I was able to just smash Rory and take my money there. That's the good, right? Like I was able to have an isolated event with mathematics that were simple and in a situation that worked out in my favor. So whatever. I think Money Mills hit. Oh yeah, Money Mills. I will say on his behalf that he hit a really nice ticket here. He hit Lucas Glover. It was a 3-way chop, first round leader. I fell short with my Aaron Rye. Let's talk about Valspar. Valspar is played at Innisbrook on the Copperhead course. Not your typical Florida resort course. I know firsthand. I played here, got destroyed. I was like, "What is this?" I live in Orlando, right? Like I'm used to walking out and playing Orange County National, but one of the Q school courses that is difficult for a Florida resident, but not difficult in terms of hitting fairways, coming out of the rough or hitting greens. It's a little bit different here at Innisbrook's yardage, 7,352, par 71, a ton of par threes, five of them. So the yardage, as always, is misleading at this course because of the par threes. It's the longer side, right? A lot of approaches are going to be from that 175 to 200 yard. It is POA overseed on the greens. This course is fun because every week I come with this skill set that you need. And of course, it's a ball striker's course, it's a shot maker's course. But even more so, I think it's a guy, a smart course strategist, right? You have to pick and choose your spots at this course and hit greens. You're not going to hit all of them, but I think it's pretty small greens here, 5,300 square feet average green. It's not like the 65, 6,000 yard foot, square foot greens. You're gonna miss greens. You gotta take your chances, take your medicine at the same time, get up and down. If you look at the past golfers that have won this event, they've done exactly that. You can't go through their stat profile and said, "This dude just gained like 7 strokes on approach on his way to victory. This guy gained 15 strokes tee to green on his way to victory." No, they kind of just like play their game, wait for it to come to them, and then boom, they get hot with the putter and they make putts. So I have like a little bit of a mix on my model this year. My card's not fully done, and you'll see, and I'll talk about this. This is going to change. There is going to be most likely a weather advantage. We are waiting until maybe 1, 2 p.m. on Tuesday to get those tee times. Then we'll have the bulk of our bets. But as true lovers of the game, we are not going to stop. We are not going to sit here and not give you picks. That said, to break down the Valspar Championship at Innisbrook, I'm bringing in the one and the only Model Maniac. Byron, my friend. What is
B-Rad, my dude. How's it going?
Dude, I am so glad that we are doing this together. I'm so glad that our friendship has grown. It's become a fun and fruitful one. Like in this space, there's people you admire. You're one of those that I admire. You're a golf riding champion, right? You build models, you look at the data. I am glad you're joining this show. So basically, what do we do, man? It's chill, right? But I always like to ask questions, and I'm gonna give a story about myself first before I get to you and ask you this question. I've been betting my whole life. Started as a card player when I was like 11 years old, and then when I turned 14, I was able to sign up for the gambling websites to play cards under, one of my siblings. And I never really thought that I'd be a serious sports bettor. I did it once I turned 18 and you could actually just bet on Bovada because I have an account now. And then I started betting a lot. Started getting into the nuances. I started doing this full time or semi full time in about 2016. 2015, I was still part time, launched my own show. And I will tell you this, I was never a data guy. Sure, numbers guy, really good at mathematics, but I never was a data guy. I would look at the numbers. I would say this number doesn't make sense. This is the probability I put on it. And boom, I would never build models. I would never track that kind of stuff until I took a sales job and I had a boss named Dan Burry. Probably the most difficult boss I had, not in terms of him like personality wise, but he demanded excellence and he was really data driven. I was the kind of guy who I wanted to be a superstar on the team, and the only way to evolve is to do what he says will make you better. So I started to dabble into data, and I got like pretty good at making graphs, charts, and different things for my job. And one day And this is 2 years before I moved over to the betting side, 100% full-time, no other job. One day I said, "What happens if I transfer this over to betting? Will my betting be better? If I start modeling things out, starting with golf, moving over to soccer, if I model these things out, what will happen?" And it was been the life-changing, aspect of my gambling career because I am data driven through and through, and you're a data driven guy. That was my bing light bulb moment. What was your light bulb moment when you knew, yo, this data, these models, I am into this. I love this. I mean, your handle is the Model Maniac. What was that light bulb moment for you?
Yeah. So before I get to the light bulb moment, I went to school for accounting. So I'm a
Okay.
spreadsheet guy. I'm in the numbers there. I still do all that stuff on the side here too. And I was with my wife's uncle, and he's a bit of a degenerate himself. And he was like, "Hey, you want to get in on a Jets Brown? I'm a Jets fan. So you want to bet on the Jets Browns game? This is when betting became legal in Iowa, and we got into that. And then
Yeah.
one thing I started modeling because I didn't want to get into gambling or betting. Gambling's got a weird connotation to it. Betting seems a bit
Yep.
more structured and understandable there. So I didn't want to do this for Mrs. Maniac's sake to be like, well, I guess that this guy would finish top 20 and I guessed wrong. I
Yeah.
need some sort of foundation for this degeneracy. I want to go from a degenerate to an actual like expert or proficient better. So just having the numbers there to validate the assumptions that you make when you're watching the golf, that's what I really wanted to kind of have as my foundation, because you can just get completely lost if you're just guessing,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah, I like there was this question I posed on social, the difference between being a ball knower or a guy who uses numbers and data. And for basketball, I use numbers, right? Use data, but I was pretty much a ball knower. This year, I started building out models for basketball, and this I'm having my best NBA season, and it's by far, right? We're like a little bit past halfway through. I'm over 20 units won. Last year, I think I ended at 25 units won, which, and I'm a pretty modest better when it comes to any sport that's not golf or soccer. So I thought that was pretty, I think your point stands there, right? Like models and data is going to kind of make you better, or at least make you understand where your inefficiencies are and you get better at those.
Yeah, when it comes to the models, I always say that I hardly ever bet anything that the model doesn't suggest, but also what it suggests, sometimes I just won't bet.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best bet you make is the one you don't. And that's how I roll. Like I'm not going to be betting random things unless it's the first round leader market, but even that's a little data driven too. But when you were mentioning the small fractions of percentages that you're kind of edging over the outright side of things, there's a bit of feel there. You got to be able
Yeah.
to realize that someone can get across the line for you. You don't want someone like the Xander of old or the Colin Morikawas on your card all the time when they just can't get over the hump, even though they've gained the most total strokes over the last 3 months. So,
Yeah. I agree
there's
with
some
that.
gut feel.
Pivoting away from the models, you're into cycling, right?
Yes, I'm a big cyclist.
How did you get into cycling? And tell me, like, what's your favorite trail or favorite trip you've done while cycling?
Sure. I got into cycling with my father-in-law, was one of the
Okay.
ways we could kind of go about it. Also, you can run 12 miles, but you can't drink 12 beers while doing that. Whereas you can bike 50 miles plus or whatever and have your 12 beers over the day and really enjoy that. So it's a very social aspect. While also, if you're 250 pounds, running can hurt you. Like if
Yes.
you've got out of shape a little bit, that jarring on your knees is pretty brutal. Whereas biking, it's a nice, you can get that heart rate pumping, but at the same time everything's super fluid on your joints and things like that. So I've enjoyed that. Here in Iowa we have a ride called the Burr Ride. It's the first Saturday of every February, regardless of the weather. So we were rocking and rolling through the cornfields of Iowa from Perry to Rippey and back, and it was a 24-mile ride in like 34 degrees. It was a beautiful day. I've done it in some brutal days where you're going through blizzards, and it's just so like barbaric at
Yeah.
times, which is, it's really nice. It rejuvenates you. It kind of grounds you to what we were put on this earth for, to survive the elements without a heater, without ACs, without that kind of stuff. So just being out there in the wilderness is really, really fun. And then Ragbri, that's a 7-day ride across Iowa. where you start on the west and go all the way to the east coast
Wow.
over those 7 days. It's the best time. You know, the camaraderie on there is great. There's thousands of people just cruising across the highways of Iowa, over the hills. Iowa's flat, man, but
Yeah.
there's some hills out here, buddy, and you can eat it bad if you're not in shape.
That's sick. I did ride around, Mackinac Island. I think that was the coolest thing that I've done. I'm not a big cyclist. I did buy a bike though. I bought a stationary bike. I'm gonna buy a real bike. I am the example that you said. I'm 235 pounds and I had a major knee injury a year and a half ago. Running, I can do it, but I can't run more than like 2 miles, a mile without it being serious pain on my knees just because that's what happens when you get older, you're heavier and you're running. But okay, another question. I'll just follow up on the cycling here. Do you ever do a stationary bike like when it's too cold outside?
Yes, and I'm on paternity leave right now. So
Yeah.
once the weather kind of chills out a bit again, I'll pop that bike. I have a Zwift, the Wahoo trainer that I can put my bike onto right away, and
Nice.
then you can cruise through Watopia or whatever world that you want to cruise through there with all the data driven metrics coming back to you there, seeing what your heart rate is, what your cadence, power output, all that stuff. So having that like nap time 30-minute bike ride is something that I'm really trying to work on again so that I can be in shape when I do get my bike on the trails when it's a little warmer again.
That's so awesome. Do you wear the padded butt pants?
I do. They aren't the they help, but ultimately, if you're getting into biking, Mrs. Maniac always tells me, "Well, every time I bike, my gooch hurts," and I'm like, "Well, you got to do it like 3 times. You got to bike 10 plus miles 3 times, and then you'll
Yep.
be Gucci." Excuse the pun, but that's what you're kind of looking for there. You just have to break through that barrier. It's kind of like outrights. You just got to
Yep.
bet them until the math makes sense for you there.
I bought the butt pants, right? I bought the
Yes.
butt pants after I was like, I'm gonna if I when I knew that I was dedicated, I have this kind of like mentality now. I'm stationary, right? I will literally be like, hey, how much time do we have left before we have to go to dinner? I want to get like a 30-minute hour bike ride in. Is that cool? That's when I knew I was like, all right, I'm getting the butt pants, like it doesn't hurt. Um, let's
And the
talk.
butt pants for the stationary bike is a must because you're not out of your seat as much as you are
Yeah.
when you're on the trail. You're just sitting, cruising, just going, going, going. So
Yep.
when you're on the stationary, less time is more technically.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, we're in the process of hopefully getting, approved for this house that has a sick trail around it, so that's why I was saying I'm gonna buy an actual bike. There's no trails. I live in downtown next to all these buildings. It's probably not the best place out here yet, but that's cool. That's really cool. I was excited to ask you that. Let's get into the tournament. At the end,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you another interview question, and, I like to just keep you on edge there, but like I said, we're playing at Valspar, and let's start in the outright market, and could you let me go ahead and just name off the favorites because these lines have changed considerably. And I'm looking at DraftKings. So DraftKings, if you want to throw some dollars here for the sponsorship, let me know. Before I tell you the odds, if you are watching on YouTube, smash the like button, comment who you think is going to win the tournament. If you are on podcast form, download and rate this show. Tommy Fleetwood, the favorite, 12-1. Justin Thomas, 14-1. Xander, 16. Straka, 22. Connors, 25, as well as Mr. Shane Lowry. Anybody from that 12 to maybe 30-1 price range that you're looking at?
I was looking at someone by the name of Akshay Bhatia before he withdrew, and now I'm kind of stuck with a 30-1 gap on my card. So
Okay.
I'm still waiting for the tee times to come out. Hopefully that comes soon. But I'm eyeing out Tom Kim down there at 30-1.
Okay.
And the iron play has just been scintillating. I like him on these shorter venues. He's just waiting for that putting to kind of get itself together. I mean, the guy was losing around the greens around
Mhm.
the players. All that kind of stuff can be rectified kind of quickly, if you're feeling a little
Yep.
different, with the around the green and short game stuff. So 31 Tom Kim seems like an option I'll be looking at. The rest of those names, like every now and then I pop out there the least amount of money that's been returned in the betting market for outrights. Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas, those are all names that are at the top of that list because these odds are catastrophic and
Horrible.
they just not Tommy Fleetwood, not returning the value that we're looking for. Tommy hasn't won on the PGA Tour yet, dude.
If Tommy Fleetwood wins this tournament at 12-1, I will sleep like a baby
Baby.
at night. I won't be like, "Oh my god, I missed Tommy's win on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
What did it?" No. 12 to 1? Are you kidding me? 12 to 1 for Tommy Fleetwood. Like even looking at Justin Thomas, right? Like I Justin Thomas can hit every shot in the bag. He can go out there and he have those spike rounds, a la tying the course record at TBC Sawgrass, but he's still not there yet. To me, he's still a 30 guy. And then like when I look a little deeper, I may be on Sepp. Sepp's number one in my model. I do have a hard time stomaching 22 to 1 on Straka. I do get the way he's playing is a lot better. He's gradually becoming that guy we can really rely on. The golfer that kind of piqued my interest, I haven't quite got there, is Mr. Corey Connors. Corey Connors, good ball striker, exceeds at courses like this, and he's finally starting to roll the rock. Didn't get there yet. So, much like you, I am nowhere in that favorite to 30 to 1 market. I am actually going down to just to Jordan Speed. Wait, actually, I want to talk about Akshay. Dude, Byron, I spent all freaking week last week saying I need Akshay to play well, but not win, so he can go and win Valspar. And then he withdraws. So all week my plan was I was going to take two golfers right off rip. I was going to take Spieth anywhere around 30 and I was going to take Akshay 29 and up. We get Akshay's at 30 and he withdraws. We get Spieth at 35. So now I had to be a little bit more creative, but I like Jordan Spieth a lot, right? Past winner of this tournament 2 years ago. He was one club away probably from winning this event. One bad decision with Greller, like, should have been a little harder on him. Like, you pretty much can win this tournament if you don't make a mistake, makes the mistake. But his game is kind of like flashy. It's having its flashes, right? He's almost there. It's also weird to me that he's a lower price to win the Masters in a insane field than he is at this tournament. Of course, we know how great he is around Augusta, but this is just like the Masters in terms of course fit, right? Justin Thomas,
Okay.
really good. Justin Thomas, my God, he better not win after me saying his name. Jordan Spieth, shot maker, can get hot with the putter. This is not a place where it's just a putter's paradise. It's where guys get hot with the putter and really good around the greens. And he's played well at all of the course comps, even Harbortown, which is another course comp that I like for this. That's Jordan Spieth, the winner there, a guy who always competes there at 35 to 1. I thought that was really good. Let's if you want to rebuke that or kind of add to that, I'll let you.
I was on that Jordan Spieth roller coaster that we got chunky Campbell soup thrown up all over us down the stretch there. And that was when he did that, I was like, this is my last time ever betting Jordan Spieth. I don't care what his odds are. I know how the story ends. Brutal stuff. Great course fit, was right in contention, boneheaded move. Like just it wasn't even just in the pond, it was middle of the goddamn pond. So I respect you for going back there. You have more faith in, and you were mentioning earlier about the outrights. I've also, the Russell Henley, Rory McIlroy flop
You're
lag
feeling
has
it.
been a brutal problem for me. I missed both of them by a week early as well. And it's just like, gosh darn it. We're dancing around like drunk gypsies on this outright market right now. We just can't freaking figure out what's going on. But yeah, the majority of my card now is to the next part of the board.
Yeah. Listen, I bet Mr. Jordan Spieth at 38 to 1 to win the Masters. I just need flashes, right? Just
Yeah.
keeps giving me signs. I don't think it's going to be this event that he wins, but at 35, 30, I thought he was a good price. Let's move a little bit further down the board. There's some interesting numbers: 40 on Smalley, 45 on Clanton, Taylor Moore, 45, Knapp probably the biggest mover in the market, was 80s, now down to 50s. It's between him or Glover. Glover's 40s. Glover was a $20 move there as well. Anybody from this, let's go 3,500 to maybe 6,000 range.
Yeah, you've mentioned a couple guys that I have bet indeed. And, the worst part about going on a show after these lines have closed or closed shortened is, these WDs can really wreak havoc. But
Yep.
Michael Kim, I grabbed him at 40 to 1, when before Akshay withdrew. I'm not going to be despondent over the fact that he missed the cut at the players. Anyone that misses the cut at the players, that's fine. Like it's a volatile event. It happens. If you played well at the players, that's a different situation.
Yep.
Michael Kim is just playing so good, and it's across the board: putting, chipping, irons, driver. He is just green lights across the board. So
Yep.
love him in that department. Glover as well. Grabbed him at 50 with each ways as well because I just can't handle being in the mix and not getting rewarded for my guy finishing second or third. So each ways are always an option, or top fives with tires paid in full. You want to be looking at that. So Glover, his course history around this thing, he's played the most events at this golf course, I believe, in the history of the tournament. Made 14 of the 20 cuts. Playing great golf, chipping nicely now, putting nicely.
Yeah, putting really nice.
Glover's got exactly that blue collar mentality for the weather that we might be experiencing. No glove is the guy I'm looking to go to there, and then Nap as well. He's this bombing paradise kind of option that we've seen play well at Mexico. He plays well at these club down courses too. That little
Yeah.
mini driver, he just stings around there. Whatever iron he has to hit off the tee, very good wedge player. Chip, man, dude, was he putting lights out last week? And it's not like he doesn't do that. He's a good putter. So seeing some spike potential like that, he's seeing the ball go in the hole right now. Love all of those bets.
What number did you get Nap at?
60.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm on Glover as well, and I got Glover at 60.
Nice.
And
Yes.
And you said it, like, everything about Lucas Glover that you want to like, you can. He's gonna be the guy who, for the next at least for the foreseeable future, is going to have the most starts at most of these courses. Which means he's going to have the upper hand. If he's playing well, if he's a guy who's top 5 in strokes gained approach, top 5 in tee to green, his putter starts to get hot, watch out, right? Because what we've seen from Lucas Glover is when his putter is hot, it can go on runs. It's not like he just has this one punting tournament. He putts well for a few weeks. That's how he won back to back. Was that 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago? So that's just something to keep in mind. I'm on Lucas Glover. A name that I think I think that I'm gonna get some flack for this, and I'm okay with that. But I just can't ignore what we're looking at with Mr. Alex Smalley. I took Alex Smalley 40 to
Mhm.
1. And people are like, he can't close. He can't close. Like, do we realize like this was a guy who was like a consistent miscut in big events? Saying a guy who consistent miscut in big events can't close is just like saying that like the sun's gonna come up, right? Like he is not that golfer yet, right? But progressively, he's performed better and better and better, right? 16th at the Sony Open, 11th Amex, 21 Waste Management, top 10 Mexico Open, Cognizant and Players both top 20s there. The dude has been great. He's been in contention late in these events as well. Obviously hasn't gotten over the hump, but I think he's one of those guys who can be on that Sepp Straka path. What I mean is pick up one win, he'll probably miss a couple cuts, right? And then the next year or the year after that, he'll be a guy who's consistently in the mix because he has game, right? Dude's good on approach. His putter really shows up really, really good with his wedges around the green. Good recipe for good golf. I salivate over tee to green players whose putters can get hot, right? Like
Hey,
that's like the recipe, right? Like so that's what Justin Thomas was 5 years ago. An amazing tee to green player, and then he would have like 3 tournaments where his putters just can't stop. But then he'd go back to being a negative putter. But yeah, Alex Smalley. Anyone else that I took in this price
what is
range?
your like threshold for a guy that's like struggled on Sundays? Because Tommy Fleetwood struggles to close it. He's 12 to 1, not going there.
Yeah, I'm like
60,
35.
35.
I'm like
Yeah.
35. So struggle on Sunday, guys. Okay, this is actually my philosophy. I'm a big live better. And I have no problem taking a little bit of profit. I will never full hedge. Knock on wood. Not knock on wood, whatever it means. I take that back. I will full hedge in the right situation. Everyone will. But I normally try not to full hedge. So I need at least 35. 32 might be the lowest for those kind of guys because I fully anticipate hedging and I want to win like let's say I do a half a unit. I want to win at least 10 units from that, right? So the once I get to 20, let's say if a guy's 20 or 25 and I do a unit, I do a half a unit or I do like a 0.35, then I don't have enough money to hedge, and I'm kinda just sitting there holding my thumbs. That's why, like, I didn't play Tommy last week. I loved Tommy last week, but at 28 and then dropped to 25, I didn't have any real outs when it came to it, especially the players, a big name is gonna be in the mix, which means you're gonna be betting a minus price, and that's not really good hedge opportunity. So, yeah, my cutoff's really close to 30. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say in the 30s, 35s, 60s green light. If you got a good
Yeah.
feel for someone, that's cool. I'm down for that, particularly in a field like this where all the big names at the top are just consistently around the board sniffing, but
Yep.
never quite getting a taste. So I don't mind that at all, buddy.
Let's go outside of the 60 to 1 range. So 60 to 1 and higher. Anybody that has caught your attention?
I'm going to mention Ben Griffin's name as well. He was 66 on my card, 50 now, just getting out of there.
Nice.
Playing in his 11th event, missed the cut at the Players. Nice little mini buy. Guy's playing great golf. Two top fives in the last three starts prior to the Players there, looking Gucci. In the sixes and aboves, now I'm just going to 100 to ones or where they were. Andrew
Okay.
Novak, 80 to 1 right now on DraftKings. He's an autoplay at like anything above 50 because he has shown as well.
Yep.
You're never going to figure out when he does it. I don't think he knows when he's going to do it. And he just shows up on the top of the board. You know, we've seen him do it at the Farmers, we've seen him do it at other places as well more recently. When it happens, we don't know. But at that kind of price, I'm just going to have him on my card as much as I can at very nice numbers and just expect him to be flirting with that top of the board there. So he's in the mix. Max McGreevy, another guy that's kind of trending in the right
Yeah,
direction,
he is.
played nicely at the cog, got through the cut at the Players, started moving in the right direction there. The ball striking numbers are amazing with him too. So we just need some flashy putting and we're looking good there. I got three more guys. I don't know if you want to chip in a bit before I go with the next three
Yeah, I'll
again.
chip
They're a
in a
little
couple, then
further.
I'll let you kind of run that through. So
Perfect.
I haven't locked these guys in yet. I'm with these long shots, I wanna kind of see if I can get in the best possible position. I'm gonna be on Neil Shipley maybe, and I don't know if I'm gonna do first round leader, I'm gonna do outright. He's 300 to 1. Neil Shipley's a guy who's kind of that has the ability to pop, right? He's a guy where I was looking at the odds, and I don't have them off the top of my head, but, around him, there were a lot of guys who had stood no chance. They had 0 upside, 0 upside. Neil Shipley does, right? Like, good dude's really good on par fives, really good on approach, really good off the tee, really good tee to green. But does that mean he puts it together in every event? No. But there's a lot of guys who are just playing and striking the ball really poorly in that 300 to 1 range, which Neil Shipley doesn't fit. Now, I haven't decided if I'm doing first round leader or just outright on him. Another one who I haven't got to the window yet, and I'm an Alabama guy, and I've been trying to. I went on Joe Idoni's show, and I told him I've been trying to find the correlation to take him, and that's Davis Riley, 201, and I do think I found it. The Trails course or the Legend
Cuphead course.
course on RTJ Trail literally reminds me of this course, with the exception of the rough is just a little bit thinner and the bunkers are different colors. It's literally a tree lined course. It literally has those penal bunkers along the fairway where you're gonna have to probably be laying up. You're not gonna really have a good angle to the green. The greens aren't massive, right? You rewarded for hitting good shots. It's a really close correlation of a course that he's played a million times. A course that he literally played while he was in college, right? Like, and I'm trying to see if that's the correlation I can make with him. It's hard to trust, but he's a hard guy to trust. But like 201, like, dude, just go out there and make me happy, right? It's like when you send your kids out to the playground, they might not be the most athletic, they might not be the first pick in the kickball team, but you get on base, baby. I'm happy. That's what I want my 200 to ones to be. So those are the two that I'm looking at. Fire off a couple at me.
Davis Riley. Let's go,
Okay.
dude. I love that. You know, the Charles Schwab wasn't playing phenomenal, made a couple cuts prior to that, but had played well at the Schwab before that.
Yep.
You know, like where Davis Riley plays well, he plays well. You know,
Yep.
there's certain guys that have that course history dependency that they just thrive at those kind of venues. He does. At this price, I'm cool with it. And did he look unflappable or did he look unflappable at the Charles Schwab with Scotty Scheffler chasing him down?
Yeah.
It's like, Scotty, who? I'm just
Yep.
close this baby out, you know? So he's okay in the mix. You know, I'm not worried about him kind of melting under the pressure. He seems like he's got what it takes. So at that price tag, I'm quite okay with it.
I love that.
Joel Damon is someone that's also been doing some stuff. Did you
Yeah.
see what he got up to make the cut, the Players? I think he shot like 4 or 5 over round one, 6 or 5 over on round two to get in the mix. And the driver is just such a weapon right now. Gained like 2.2 strokes in round one at the Players. At a golf course like that, it's not easy to gain a bunch of strokes with everyone laying up. So you got to be peppering fairways, keeping your ball out of dangerous areas. He does just that. Underrated iron player. So good across the board. And we've been seeing, you know, I've been joking about him doing this Navy SEAL training,
Yeah.
and since he's been doing this Navy SEAL training, he's turned into a sniper on and around the greens a little bit. So we're seeing some spiky stuff with Joel making big bombs on the greens, and we've got the ball striking always there. 150 to 1, 100 to 1. The numbers have shrunk a touch there. Love Joel Damon in that department. Then I have one more for you.
Yeah, hit me.
Matt McCarty.
Oh, okay.
McCarty, baby. On the rocks, all with some Diet Coke. 200 to 1 right now on DraftKings. He is just ball striking the bejesus out of it again now. Great Corn Ferry Tour pedigree. That's how he got onto the PGA Tour, winning 3 times there. Then won the Black Desert Championship within a couple starts in the PGA. So when this guy gets in the mix, he's
Yeah.
also not afraid to back down, closes the door. 200 to 1 on a guy that, on a course like this, he doesn't have tons of distance, so he
Yeah.
prefers these shorter venues. I'm a big believer in him this week at 200.
Nice. That's sick. Let's get over to the placement market, and anybody watching and listening, just keep in mind I have not actually bet any of these.
Yeah.
So I'm only gonna give two guys that I kind of like, just because I just can't know that there is this weather coming up and I don't bet it, right? And I bet it and I'm sitting there with a bad advantage. Um, and I'll go with my first one. And I'm gonna go with Mr. Jake Knapp 200 to 1. And that's top 20.
Plus 200.
What I say? Plus 200. Yeah, yeah. Plus 200 to 1. Could you imagine? I,
I would
I
love
find
a
that
top
glitch.
20 on Jake Knapp at 200 to 1. I will mortgage my house.
Yeah, I'm like, babe,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. 401k money's gone. No. But Jake Knapp, good course fit here, right? And not good course fit because we know that he's really great with his driver, right? If Jake Knapp is forced to club down and he has a long iron in, he's one of the best long iron hitters in the field. We talked about it at the Open, 175 to 200, the most approaches, the most frequent approach distance. So that puts Jake Knapp in the category. Also, he's just been a guy who's just been hanging around, right? He will be on my first round leader card, weather permits as well too, but we'll get into that later. Give me one guy that you like so far in the place market, even if you bet him or not.
Yeah, I have bet Tommy Fleetwood at minus 115, bet 365 open up with that guy. But I'm seeing a minus 140 on a top 20 for Tommy.
Yep.
And that's without ties paid in full. If you're looking for ties paid in full, it's like minus 165.
Yep.
Also, when it's negative odds like that, I'm cool leaning into the ties without, with the dead heats, because
Same.
the probability of that person not flirting with the dead heat range when he's at those kind of odds is better. So I don't mind taking the discount without the ties paid in full for that top 20 market. I mean, he's a top 20 beast, dude. Like, looking at how he's come in here, it's just pretty much every single start's been top 20 this year for him. And
Yep.
at this golf course, every start's been top 20 for him. So it's just a great combination of form, course fit, course history, decent price. I am not opposed, Brad, to betting negative odds on placement markets, because people on the golf betting side of things are always like, the best thing about golf is betting plus money placements. Like, we got this like obsession with everything being plus money because
Yep.
NFL is always minus 110. We don't get the chance to get nice plus money odds.
Yep.
But you need to turn that into a percentage. Minus 145, that percentage is whatever. I got it somewhere else here on my tools, but the minus 145, he finishes inside the top 20 at probably like a 65% clip.
Yep.
That's not minus 145. So I'm okay with that. Just want to mention that kind of thing. And then what is Shane Lowry's top 20 odds right now as well? Plus
Shane
130
Lowry is
without ties.
plus 110
Um,
with ties.
Bang. Let's hit that one. Plus 110, Shane Lowry. Have not betted either, but that is on the back burner, waiting for these tee times to come out. If he gets that, it's the AM PM wave that we're looking
Yep.
at, right? So I'm looking for Shane Lowry to get that Thursday morning time. And I love that, dude. He's just a top 20 savant as well.
He
Like,
is. Listen, you just named my two favorite top 20 betters,
boom.
who I will
Yes.
be targeting, Mr. Fleetwood and Mr. Lowry. But I have another. I have another, and I can't quit him. I can't quit him, dude. He just keeps printing money. That's Mr. Sepp Straka, top 20 plus 105, including ties. He's only finished in the top 20 what feels like every event this season, at least in the calendar year, but two, right? Century, Amex, AT&T, uh, Waste Management, Cognizant, the Players, API, backdoor top 20 at API. And I don't know if you want to call it a backdoor effort at the Players, but he started off like 3 or 4 over on the final
Mhm.
round and grinded his way to a backdoor top 20 again. He's a guy that, listen, plays well in the wind, great course fit, good putter on POA. Like, I wanna bet him to win the tournament, right? Like, that's how much I like Sepp Straka. I just need the tee times.
Yes, just need the only thing with me and him winning the tournament is the reliance on the short game, like chipping.
Yes.
You know, he's not the greatest in that department. I think with the weather we could be expecting, we might need a bit more of that. But you can chip yourself out of the tournament to win, but you can't really, with the ball striking he possesses, you can't chip yourself out of that top 20. And should we call it a back doggy door? You know, like it's always there for Sep. You know, you can come in and
Yep,
out whenever you want and just got to show some dog to kind of just fight back from a poor start. So, and I saw you mention, was it on Joe's show with Shane Lowry,
yep.
where what a comeback
What
that
a
was.
holy crap,
Wow. Wow,
dude.
dude. Like DFL after the week the cut was made, and
Yeah,
then top 20 for us out of nowhere. So I love that bet from Shane.
I
Thank you
couldn't
so
believe it.
much,
I
Shane.
was like, "What the heck?" And I saw his tweet. His tweet was like, I don't know if it was a tweet or an interview, but he was like, "Honestly, I'm just happy to have a tea time on Saturday."
Yes.
That was the
Yep.
mentality I knew he was going ham.
Yeah. Some of us are happy to make the cut, is I think what the post was like. Just kind of taking a dig at these no cut events, you know. And I think these players, there's some of them that just, it's also so weird. You see these guys walking down the fairways with Griot, and he's like, yeah, I'm shooting like 70 and not really content. It's like, they don't see the world in, some of these guys don't see the world in strokes gained and metrics like that. They just professional golfers trying to break par, you know,
Yep.
to some capacity. And making a cut is a big deal on a lot of these guys' radar.
Yep. I totally agree. Let's move into the first round leader market before we wrap here. And listen, I'm only going to talk about I forgot I had one who was my second? Um I said both of them. I'm only going to talk about Neil Shipley and only going to talk about Jake Knapp. Neil Shipley, just mad upside. Haven't got there. I need the tee times. Neil Shipley, a first round leader. So if you guys see it, I'll post it in my Discord channel, Gamblers Guild. If you see it there, that's kind of I talked about it already. Jake Knapp is just a guy who literally has been popping first round leader, been first round top 5 quite frequently. He hit for us already. This is another event. If he gets a good tee time, especially like that real early, like first one out, he's a really good number here. Do you have anybody who you've locked in? Jake Knapp, by the way, plus is 110 to 1. So a $25 bet returns you $2,700.
Yeah, baby. So I'll follow you along with the nap situation there. I'll start off with my first round prince, Cristobal Del Solar. I mean,
Okay.
if you take a look at his total strokes gained for just across all rounds, he's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. But if you
Yep.
take a look at his first round splits, Brad, it's absurd. I don't think he's gained strokes on the PGA Tour this year. He's just a Corn Ferry Tour grad who made it onto tour this year. The only time he's ever gained strokes was in round one so far.
Yeah. Wow.
And on on the KFT, this dude had more rounds where he gained 4+ strokes on the field than he had losing strokes on the KFT in round one. Round two, round three, round four, that remains an absolute mystery. But this guy is a round one guy, 250 to 1. You know,
That's
I
great.
will auto bet that every single week given his profile. So give me him. I mentioned Andrew Novak. We never know when Bojack Novak is going to be showing up.
Yep.
200 to 1, I think. Yeah, 150 to 1 for a Novak first round leader. That's chump change, you know, like you can sprinkle on that all day. And then another name I'll be mentioning is Brian Campbell. Love the course fit for him this
Yeah.
week. Winner of the race of the freaking Mexico Open when we were all on Aldrich. What a disaster that was.
Pain.
But pain, bro. So much pain. But anyway, we'll try and make our money back with the first round leader for him at 200 to 1. Great first round leader guy. And, you know, he's very, very good on these par threes. He doesn't hit it very long, but we saw him down the stretch in Mexico knocking those like 7 woods to a couple feet, you know, from far away on the par threes. And there's 5 of them this week. So give me him. Great short game. And then Ryan Gerard. I have no idea what his price is. Let me actually take a quick look. Um, he is someone that I'll definitely be taking a peek at. He's just also one of these guys that absolutely gets it done.
Yeah.
120 to 1 for Gerard to get first round leader there. He's great in round one and round two, and then kind of stumbles down the stretch.
That's nice. That is really nice. Dude, thank you. But I can't let you go without asking my favorite question. All right. No right or wrong answer. So you're tasked to build the perfect fast food meal. You could stop at any location to get any item, whether it's the fries, the entree, the dessert, the drink. Where are you going for each item? And what are you getting?
Okay, I will go to Popeyes for a chicken sandwich
Okay.
without the pickles.
Without
Then I'll go to Chick-fil-A, which is next to Popeyes, for the waffle fries. Get the Chick-fil-A sauce with
perfect.
that as well. Potentially just get some Polynesian and dip the Popeyes in the Polynesian. And then I will probably there's a place here called Bebop's, but I'll also say Wendy's just for a chocolate shake, you
Okay.
know? Um, I love that kind of combination right there. I go to Chick-fil-A after I get allergy shots on a Friday, every Friday.
Yeah.
That's my motivation to go get jabbed with 3 needles every goddamn week is to go get myself a nice, chicken sandwich afterwards. So, big believer in the chicken sandwiches. What is yours?
What is mine? Wow. I don't think I've answered this in a long time. Um, drink Chick-fil-A. And I'm going
Lemonade.
to get the blue Powerade. No fast food establishment makes the blue Powerade the way Chick-fil-A does. Fries, fries really depends on my mood. I've been really big into dipping recently, and I've been in my sauces, so I wanna go to Arby's for the curly fries, right? I wanna get the honey mustard from Chick-fil-A, and I wanna get the sweet and sour from either Burger King or Wendy's, whichever one is closer. I've been into my dipping.
Dude, I'm a big sauce guy.
For the entree, man. Alright, listen, don't judge me. I'm a big guy. I work out and I consume a lot of calories. So don't judge me, but I'm getting 2 entrees, and they're both from Chick-fil-A, and I this is literally what I get pretty much every time I go to Chick-fil-A. I'm getting the grilled market salad. It's phenomenal with the, honey mustard dressing, and then I'm getting a side chicken sandwich. If I've had a big breakfast, I'll do 12-piece chicken tenders, but I'm getting some Chick-fil-A chicken in my system. And for the dessert, hmm,
Oh, I totally forgot about dessert,
for the dessert, man, I don't know. I don't actually eat dessert really, so, like, I don't know if I have an answer. I don't know. Like, you just don't know what you don't know, right? Like, I think
Like a
I've
hot
never
fudge
ordered a
sundae,
shake. I never ordered a
McDonald's.
shake from a drive-through, so
See, I guess my shake was I'll probably go Chick-fil-A lemonade as my drink, and then
okay.
maybe do a Shamrock Shake from McDonald's, maybe
McDonald's, okay.
seasonal, but also just a hot fudge sundae from McDonald's, extra hot fudge. Like
Wow.
simple, cheapish, and very tasty stuff.
I think it changes for me too, because like, I'm allergic to chocolate, so, like, that, like, eliminates most of the dessert
Caramel
that
fudge
people could eat,
sundae.
you know? Like, I do I when I say this though, I do have one weakness. If they have a drive-through, if they could pull up a drive-through, I'd be there every day. It is the, vegan strawberry shake from, uh, Greenery Creamery. It is literally downstairs at my place. I literally if I'm going out for the night and I like day drinking, I mean, and I'm coming back before they close at 9 PM, I'm getting that shake every single time. I don't even care if I eat dinner. If I have that shake, I didn't even know it was vegan when I first started getting it. I just went there because it was so delicious, and then I found out it was a vegan place. That's my if I can add that to my order, Greenery Creamery
Mm,
strawberry milkshake.
B-Rad, we're going day drinking this weekend. I'm flying to Florida. What are we stuffing the cooler with?
Oh, day drinking. Okay, so in the morning, I like to start off with a vodka and orange juice. I'm a big juice guy. Or if I am sitting and having breakfast, I will do an apple juice with a vodka and water. Right. Then from there, I'll transition. If we're out at an event, right, like we're sporting event, I'm a high noon guy. If not, I'm vodka club soda, and it has to be premium vodka because I don't wanna squirt lime in there. I don't wanna squirt lemon juice. I want premium vodka. I wanna taste it. Like, I like the taste of vodka. And then later at night, I kind of ditch the vodka and I go to a Riesling, or I will go to to like just straight tequila.
Buddy, that is you are a very sophisticated drinker for during the days. I was just gonna say how many cases of Busch Light Peach are we buying? But, um, you know what? We'll have all of it together. So,
What about you? What about you? What about you?
yeah, I tend to just stick because I have to drink a lot, like, I'm a big boy, tolerance is
Yeah.
up there. So, if I'm sipping on something, it has to, taste good for the whole day. I love a good Busch Light Peach during the summertime.
Okay.
Twisted teas, geez, I have a half drank one from
I've
the show
never had a
yesterday.
twisted tea.
Um,
There's some in my fridge
Twisted
though from people
teas,
come over.
yeah, dude, they are so, so tasty, and there's variety of flavors, love those. And then if we're looking to kinda get frisky, I just love a good Jack and Diet. I just love the
Okay.
taste of the Diet Coke along with
Yeah.
some Jack, so, um, big fan.
If I do beer, it's Ace Pineapple. I'm not a big beer guy, so that's more like special occasion. Like I'm watching a game with my dad where we're not like heavy drinking, but we want to have
Nice.
one or two. I'll just go and buy a six pack of Ace Pineapple.
Love it, dude. Love it.
Dude, thank you as always. Byron, can you go ahead and plug your stuff? Let people know where to find you and how to support you.
Yeah, all my stuff can be found at the Model Maniac Patreon. You can just go to my Twitter account or X account at the Model Maniac and find that there. Back nine bets on Tuesdays at 7 Eastern. And then I'm sure you guys know, if you know me already, Fantasy Golf Degenerates is also on Mayo Media Network, which drops every Monday night with Kenny Kim. So those are all my areas you can grab me throughout the week.
Dude, listen, thank you for joining. Everyone watching, make sure you smash that like button. Go follow my man. For Byron, I'm Brad. Oh yeah, wait. Thank you to our producer, Straight. Got to thank the guy who makes all the magic happen. But this was the No BS podcast. Take care.